Hello there. And welcome back. Every 2.5 months we do a recap of the shows in this period. At the end of the video, there is a very special bonus. So, sit back and enjoy.
Angustius Ladrone, self-appointed president of Colombia, a microstate in Central America, has ordered the national astronomers to postpone the solar eclipse of next week. For the first time in history, the full solar eclipse will occur right over the small country. Ladrone wants the event to happen on his birthday, which is 2 days later. Angustius Ladrone came to power in 2011, after he forcefully had removed his predecessor from office during a coup that was described as the bloodiest seizure of power in the continent's history. The presidential decree to the astronomers was so he can use the total solar eclipse on his birthday to obtain a godlike status. Angustius Ladrone of Colombia is also known to execute everyone as well as his or her family that do not abide to his decrees and demands. This came just in. Many countries in Europe and the USA have granted immediate political asylum to several astronomers and weather experts with their entire families that had fled from Colombia, a small Central American country. The asylum seekers claimed that they would face prosecution and execution and probably have their heads on display in the presidential palace of their motherland. Their request was granted after pressure of the leaders of Amnesty International and all other humanitarian organizations. Because it was Colombia, the name of the country of the refugees is for privacy reasons withheld to the media.
A survey about gender preferences held by the Gallup Bureau, under 10,000 American women gave the result that 61% of the women hope that their first daughter will be a girl. UFO landing. Somewhere in the United States, a service car with 2 car mechanics of the AA had a close encounter of the third kind. They were called to the site where people witnessed the landing of a small alien spacecraft. A few hours later, the 2 mechanics returned to their station and gathered news reporters asked them what happened at the landing site. They shrugged their shoulders and answered, "It was not really something special. It were just a couple of friendly gurgles from the planet Xnort, who had to make a stop because of trouble with their sleep inductors. It's a common problem with this type of Xnortion flarges. We repaired it with a piece of string and the craft was good as new." They thanked us and continued their trip. It was no big deal. And with a high five, the mechanics went back to work, helping car drivers in need of technical assistance. Safety in Catalonia. After the president of the Baltic country Catalonia had a mishap with a fitness machine, the government made it mandatory to wear a helmet and shoulder padding on home trainers and running pads. The police was ordered to strictly uphold this law in city street as well as motorway traffic. In the sense it became law, it has proven to be very successful. Not a single arrest was made. The solution to overpopulation. At a press conference, the spokesman of the LGBTQIWFKSMD community told the media that making gay marriage not even legal, but mandatory all over the world could mean a way to reduce the problem of the growing overpopulation of our planet, because gay couples don't produce children. When this got in the news, religious organizations were furious because this would be against all their dogmatic beliefs. The military industry complex commented, "A couple of well-organized world wars with a better way to reduce the world population and make astronomical profits in the process." I wonder why the world is governed by these complete wackos? The software and computer giant McRant in Silicon Valley published their breakthrough that will make blind people able to see by means of a virtual reality headset with forward-pointed cameras. To tackle illiteracy, the government has opened a post office box address that comes with the slogan, "Illiterate, write a letter to P.O. Box 51 in Washington, D.C., and receive a free brochure." In Wisconsin, the police responded to a call of UFO sightings on a farm. When they arrived, there were saucers flying everywhere, because the farmer and his wife had a fight and were throwing dishes at each other. An Institute of Gender Studies published a paper, happily announcing that if progress continues at the current rate, in the year 2120, there will be about 7 billion genders. Everyone will be unique and it will be all butterflies and pink unicorns from that moment on. Since Donald Trump suggested his followers to storm the Capitol, there is not much fake news around, and frankly it is scary stuff. What will happen after this, so I have to wing it a little. Suppose Dumbledore is not impeached or arrested and tried for treason, to not give his followers a reason to start a second civil war. Will his followers go after the Deutsche Bank instead? After all, he is being idolized. Since the image of Christ appeared on toast, the same is happening to Dumbledore. For goodness sake, his image even appeared in beef. And now the subject is about his appearance. Everyone agrees on it that his face is orange, right? But not his whole face. I keep noticing that around his eyes, he's white, and maybe I know what caused this. It sure looks like he was using one of these. Let's put this on his face. See? Perhaps he was wearing this when he was spray painted? Okay, back to where we started. After the Deutsche Bank takes all his money, he needs a different way to pay for his rallies. Dumbledore will need to apply for a job. Who will ever hire him? Perhaps a cleaning company?
A person that has a good you-know-what. Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light. And I think you said that has him in check, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute, and is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs, so it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're gonna have to use medical doctors with, but it sounds interesting.
In construction?
I want to build a wall. I'm going to build a wall. I want to build the wall. We need the wall. And Mexico will pay for the wall.
He would make a great lightning rod. What can I say? He's kinda useless. As a president and as a human. I made a serious video about Dumbledore on my own channel, which I will link in the end credits. Well, this is all I could make up. I hope you enjoyed the show, and see you next time. Tonight, we have a new collection of weird things, and stuff we made up ourselves. Come to think of this, Ned always makes it up to make sure it is really fake. First item, weird sport invented in Santiago. When our correspondent Tina Jones visited Santiago, she found these laughing people piled up on the sidewalk. As they later explained, they were the neighborhood extreme hopscotch team that had just finished a training game for the championship. But there was no hopscotch field on the street, and how did they pile up this way? How does this game work? Tina asked. The team answered that it was very simple. The group finishing the pile up the fastest has won the game. They invited her for next day to come to the roof of the building where she took this picture, which explains the term extreme. Stairway architect Walter Stepp remembered. Walter Stepp died last week, at the very ripe age of 107. He started his career at the age of 5, when he drew some of the stairways that were implemented in the famous Winchester Mystery House. The Winchester Mystery House is a mansion in San Jose, California, that was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearm magnate William Wirt Winchester. Located at 525 South Winchester Boulevard in San Jose, the Queen-in-style Victorian mansion is renowned for its size, its architectural curiosities, and its lack of any master building plan. In this house, Walter Stepp discovered his talent to design weird staircases. Here are some examples of his designs. car cloning facility found in Wisconsin. Urban Explorer found this abandoned car cloning facility in a building in Sheboygan County in Wisconsin. They came to the conclusion that the cloning of DeLorean cars was ended when the owners discovered that none of them was able to travel in time. As usual, we have some very silly stories that never reach the normal news. The first item is not even fake. What you see here is the tandem construction of two Harley-Davidson panhead hardtail motorcycles from around the year 1950. The biker standing at the front side apparently welded two of the same type machines together. All of this to be able to give his blind brother, standing at the back, the born-to-be-wild riding sensation as he experiences himself when riding. It makes me wonder, are both engines functional? Or is one just a spare, for as the other one breaks down? The girl that inspired the creators of the Star Wars character Jabba the Hutt in the 1980 movie, The Empire Strikes Back, has reached the age of 50. To the Weekly Bugger she said that she was quite angry with the artist when he drew her on paper, but that is in the past now. We wish her happy birthday and many happy years to come. A few years ago, a company got a lot of public funding for their revolutionary concept of solar roadways. This would be a technological revolution.
It's technology that replaces all roadways, parking lots, sidewalks, driveways, tarmacs, bike paths, and outdoor recreation services with solar panels.
Hi, we're Scott and Julie Brusso, the co-inventors of solar roadways.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, we're only generating 380 watt hours a day. To heat these things is just ridiculous. This is solar power 101. Oh!
There were lots of critics that said it would totally fail, just because horizontal solar panels have no efficiency at all, and would be crushed under the weight of the traffic. And as it turns out, the critics were right. Now they try to save face with a new project, solar sidewalk benches. Perhaps they keep your butt warm? Why even put these expensive panels on the ground if there is enough space alongside the roads like they now do all around the world? What this is all about, your guess is as good as mine, perhaps a hologram. If you think this was weird, at an IKEA shop the night alarm went off and what the police found when they arrived never reached the news. This was the only picture that was leaked about the incident. Freeze? What were they doing? Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Bugger. This evening, in cooperation with a funny farm lunatic asylum. That I am the warden, purely a coincidence. Have you ever heard about Marjorie Taylor Greene? She is always shouting about QAnon. For the people who never heard of it, QAnon is a disproven and discredited far-right conspiracy theory alleging that a secret cabal of Satan worship, cannibalistic pedophiles is running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotting against former U.S. President Donald Trump, who has been fighting the cabal. Yeah, that QAnon. She is a special kind of crazy, no doubt about it. Republican, ultra-right, Christian conservative, gun crazy, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like there are millions in the USA. She was also very active in Twitter and Facebook, where she publicly endorsed the execution of Democrats. I call that crazy. But Marjorie went for Congress, and she got voted in. There her batshit crazy ideas reached the public even more. Dumbball Drumpf loved her. Well, I guess, crazy finds crazy, right? After Drumpf, now also Marjorie, got banned from Twitter for calling Georgia voting systems manager Gabriel Sterling a moron. I think she is not only batshit crazy, I think she is dangerous. Just look at the following she has. Seeing this picture, it seems that she wants to shoot Democrats herself. She supports the QAnon conspiracy theory that there is a Satan-worshipping, cannibalistic pedophiles is running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotting against former U.S. President Donald Trump. All the things that scare only delusional, Christian conservatives. Because in my eyes, sane people, see right through this horse shit. And the almost hilarious nonsense it is. Now after accusing the opposition Satanists, which is a complete joke, they call them pedophiles, which is the move of a desperate bunch that runs out of dirt to dig up. But now Dumbball Drumpf has been voted out, she needs some new insanity to keep her in the media. Yes, this is it. And a person that does not even understand that she is making a complete and utter ass of herself, proves that she is fit for a padded room in our funny farm. Being a congresswoman, she might hard to prosecute. But it makes her not immune from being admitted to a lunatic asylum like our excellent funny farm. From now on, our nice men in white coats, as well as a Russian agent are looking for her. So we can give her the treatment she so much needs. Hello, welcome to our special. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is perhaps a stupid, Republican, Christian conservative, gun crazy, conspiracy lunatic. Now her latest crazy is that she wants people to believe the forest fires of the past years are caused by Jewish space lasers.
See, Jews in space!
We're Jews out in space. We're zooming along, protecting the Hebrew race. We're Jews out in space. If trouble appears, we'll put it right back in its place. When Goyim attack us, we'll give them a smack, we'll slap them right back in the face.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is recently elected as the state of Georgia representative in Congress of the USA. Beside a white supremacist, far-right gun crazy, Taylor Greene has become the face of QAnon. For the people that haven't heard of QAnon, this is a completely insane, disproven and discredited far-right conspiracy theory alleging that a secret cabal of Satan-worshipping, cannibalistic pedophiles is running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotting against former U.S. President Donald Trump, who has been fighting the cabal. QAnon. And Trump fighting for anything else than his own gain? Really? Anyway, she is also a believer in conspiracies like Pizzagate, also with, of course, Democrat pedophiles, ordering children like pizzas, and supposedly Hillary Clinton was the ringleader. I think this was more or less the precursor of QAnon. She believes that at 9/11 no real planes were used, and that Bill and Hillary Clinton had a bomb planted in the plane that crashed with John F. Kennedy Jr. She believes that school shootings were staged or faked to limit gun ownership. On social media she gave like to posts that called to kill Nancy Pelosi, and publicly stated that Democrats should be executed. Can you believe this? So much crazy, in such a small package? Apparently even a Republican idiot like Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Senate, said, "Someone who makes these kinds of does not live in reality and has nothing to do with substantively strengthen the Republican Party." He also called her a cancer, and coming from a nutbag like McConnell, that means a lot. Because she supported the pro-Trump storming of Congress of January 7, 2021. Now the Democrats want to expel Marjorie Taylor Greene. In Congress this happened only 5 times in history, and it needs a 2/3 majority. But Marjorie has no plans to give up, and here we come in, with our funny farm. At this moment, we have a direct connection with Yuri, our Russian agent.
Здравствуйте, Ivy. Well, it might be a little hard to prosecute her. She is congresswoman, and generally, the Politburo, they like to keep these types of people immune from our funny bins. Wait, America has no Politburo. Okay. There might be some nice gentlemen in white clothes, as well as a few good Soviet agents. Don't worry, we will be taking good care of her.
In case you are wondering what this is behind me, well, this is our funny farm. The lunatic asylum where other institutions fail. At the moment, we have wings added to accommodate the loons like flirts, the religiously insane, or just your garden variety batshit crazies like sovereign citizens, Karens, Moors.
Hey moron! Fucking moron!
And whatever you, the viewer, can provide us with. Our current funny form population can use some company. And now the final part of this special. I also recorded this debunk with crude math. Space lasers are so easy to debunk with some crude calculations. Let us take as example, the ILA 1208 argon ion laser. Power consumption is 16 kilowatts, that is 16,000 watts, however, useful output is 3 watts. This is not very efficient. At the moment, the U.S. Army is pushing forward with plans for the most powerful laser weapon to date. The Indirect Fires Protection Capability High Energy Laser. In short, FPC HEL. Yeah. HEL. Americans and their scary abbreviations. This will be a 250 to 300 kilowatt weapon, up to 10 times more powerful than the current U.S. Navy's laser weapon system. The power boost should be enough to destroy targets as large as incoming cruise missiles. Look at the picture on the screen. The thing on top is the laser, the rest is filled with a few metric tons of batteries. Let us go back to the argon ion laser, with an output of 3 watts, needing 16 kilowatts of power. Or as they call it, electricity. Now compare this to the output by the high-energy laser of 300 kilowatts, that is 300,000 times stronger than the first. This would come to a power consumption of 16,000 times 300,000 and we would come to 4.8 gigawatts. For good measurement that lasers have become like 100 times more efficient, this would still come to 48 megawatts, 48 million watts. Suppose this laser would be able to reach Earth from average low Earth orbit of about 300 kilometers, 185 miles in the Humpty Dumpty empirical scale. It would still need a hell of a boost to fire. The batteries in that truck have enough power for a few full power bursts and would need to be recharged with a massive charger. In space there are only solar panels, and the biggest ones are on the International Space Station. The 4 sets of arrays can generate 84 to 120 kilowatts of electricity, enough to provide power to more than 40 homes. But not a 300 kilowatts space laser. Space lasers of that power are still impossible. Same as solar mirrors that work as heat rays, this only exists in science fiction. And in the mind of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think everyone knows this feisty Karen by now. Not even we can make this up. Let's watch.
Is it a law? What's the federal law that prevents me from wearing a face mask?
What did she just say? Perhaps I heard it wrong. Let's see if there is more.
Is it a law? What's the federal law that prevents me from wearing a face mask?
There she says it again. Is there a law that prevents me from wearing a mask? This makes no sense, does it? Welcome, Lance Corporal Flatter of the Military Police in New Zealand. Is this different in your country?
Kia ora, Ivy. So, obviously I'm not Flatter, and we're not filming from his usual location. I'm currently here at one of New Zealand's gulags, managed isolation facilities. New Zealand has some pretty decent laws surrounding preventing people from wearing the masks, because if they did, well, then we wouldn't have enough people to fill up these gulags. And that's currently where Flatter's spending a bit of time, because he decided that he was going to wear a mask out because he wasn't feeling that well. And we all know where that leads you.
Thank you, Lance Corporal. You really look like Unter Flatter, by the way. Yuri, are you there?
Ivy!
Why do you call me Evie? My name is Ivy.
That is what I said! Evie!
Okay, never mind.
Ah! Evie! Oishi moi! I can nobody understand Yuri. So, here in Soviet Union, the Politburo would prefer that we do not wear masks. It is for obvious reasons. See, I show you. I put the mask on. How are you supposed to drink vodka when you have mask on?
Different countries, different laws, I guess.
Yuri needs more vodka, I think.
But altogether we can assume this is not what our combat Karen meant to say. And now, the bonus.
I try to live my life every day. Keep out of strife, come what may. I try to do unto others as I'd have them do to me. But it can't be done for everyone, and now it's plain to see. You are a cunt, but if that's thinking cunt, said and true, but it tell you you're a motherfucking cunt. You are a cunt, motherfucking cunt. Everybody knows from your head to your toes you're a big fat stinking cunt. I try to be real nice, say it twice, be real nice, even though it is hard to keep up this facade. And now I see, dearie me, what a hassle this would be. I'm out of luck, don't give a fuck, cause you're the cunt, not me.
Why don't you go fuck yourself, dickhead?
You are a cunt, big fat stinking cunt. Say it ain't true, but I'm gonna tell you you're a motherfucking cunt. You are a cunt, motherfucking cunt. Everybody knows from your head to your toes you're a big fat stinking cunt. Why don't you shut that scabby cunt mouth before I fuck up your face?
Fuck out of my goddamn fucking face. Whatever.
I try to be real nice, say it twice, good advice, even though it's futile. Fucking imbecile. I don't know why I try to deny this nagging itch. You maniac, gonna get you back, you fucking son of a bitch. You are a cunt, a big fat stinking cunt. Say it ain't true, let me tell you you're a motherfucking cunt. You are a cunt, motherfucking cunt. Everybody knows from your head to your toes you're a big fat stinking cunt.
Hello, this is the Dutch Heretic channel, and I am Ivy, the host on all of Ned McRant's channels. Ned and I put a lot of work in our videos, and would really like to see our channel become bigger. So please, hit that like and subscribe buttons and ring that notification bell. We are not monetized, so get nothing from YouTube, but if you want to help us, please consider to help us at www.patreon.com/DutchHeretic. We want to do more, with better animations and shit. Your help will be very much appreciated.